There's a cult movie going on right now that has aired twice, and it's going to actually air again at the end of the month on Sci-Fi Channel. Not something I usually watch. It's a B movie. It may even be a C movie. It's so bad. It is just the worst thing you've ever seen. And it's called Sharknado. And the story behind it, anybody seen Sharknado? Oh, you will. It's going to become a cult movie. And Sharknado is about a tornado that forms off of the coast of Los Angeles. And the tornado picks up...
They start flying in.
The tornado picks up all the sharks and it moves on land. Well, you can't have a tornado in Los Angeles, I don't think. But anyway, the theory is it drops all the sharks. They're showing up in swimming pools. They're showing up in drainage
on the
ditches,
streets even.
The streets, everywhere. It's just sharks everywhere. So I was thinking that, I really ought to capitalize on the idea of Sharknado. And so we're going to make, hey, Jerry. This is Jerry Couch. He works with me. And it's your. Did you get this for your daughter today, for her birthday today?
13 today.
She's 13 and her name?
Alana.
Happy birthday. Thanks, Jerry. I'll keep the shark. Thanks.
Oh, careful back here. Careful back here.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's a little bigger than I thought. So I thought, being a P.T. Barnum, that we would capitalize on Sharknado. And so we're going to make shark's teeth Italian ice. And I'm giving away the recipe. It's just something I thought up. It's not terribly difficult. But I want to see a year from now where we are. Has shark tooth ice cream, caught on around the country? You never know. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a blood red Italian ice.
How much water do you need?
Otherwise known as a cherry ice. Let me get the formula and pick these up. That shark has got a big tail. I'll pass these out. This is the formula for shark tooth Italian ice. It's just a little twist on an old formula, but for shark's teeth, you need teeth. So what I got is candy corn. I mean, that's exactly what a shark's tooth looks like, is candy corn. So we're going to make a cherry Italian ice or shark blood Italian ice with candy corn in it. And
you have way too much time on your hands.
I do have way too much time on my hands. This is what I do sitting around on my boat.
How much water do you need?
I need for water, shark teeth.
2 quarts.
Cherries, shark teeth, cherry extract, fresh lemon juice. I didn't add the water. How about that? Let's see, 14 quarts of water, 7, I'll take 6.
6 in that machine?
5 quarts. Give me 5 and we'll see how it tastes.
Okay.
5 quarts. And let's see, we're going to need the sugar, cherry pieces. I did leave some things off the recipe here. Isn't that great?
Can only help it.
Yes. So I'm going to go over to the scale here and measure out some sugar.
Normally they say, oh, I don't want any more ice cream. Oh, I've had enough ice cream.
Yeah.
They're going to want more.
More of yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's what you're thinking. So
you said 5 quarts, right?
Yes. 10-quart machine. And I set that to 0.
Oh, that's right. You're making it in this one.
Yes.
Okay. That was my confusion.
Okay. $73.5. I'm going to go to 3.5 pounds of sugar. Oops. Let's get that.
Da, 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 da.
All right. Add our sugar. There we go. And sugar dissolves very nicely in cold water. You don't have to use, I got one, thanks. You don't have to use hot water. And you use the cheapest sugar you can find. Do you have that bag? Will you show them the cheapest sugar you can find? Cheap sugar. There's no difference between Domino sugar or any other big brands and the house brand. It's all sugar, comes out of the same factories. Our refinery is up on the Florida-Georgia border. And
you don't need the little tiny crystals that supposedly dissolve faster. It's all nonsense.
that's right. So this dissolves good enough. Excuse me?
How much sugar did you put in?
I put in about 3.5
About this
pounds.
much.
Yeah, about that much.
You need my thing again, right?
I used to do this.
I thought
I
you
used to do
needed
this shtick. You know that you see it. I learned it from an
Is this
executive
yours?
chef. You know, he's carefully measuring out the amount of sugar, and then he tastes it, and he stares at it, and he goes in here, pulls out, and goes like that. And perfect. You know, it's all hype.
Black, huh?
It's to taste. So when you taste it, you can say, "Oh, it's a little too sweet. It needed a little more." Sometimes, if a flavor is too bland, you need to add just a half pound more sugar to bring out the flavor.
Like in the avocado ice cream.
Yes. One guy liked it.
One guy liked it. He's in the corner, doubled over.
Okay, these are fresh IQF cherries. IQF just means individually quick frozen. And in many cases, it's as good as fresh because it's always available and you can get it at the supermarket.
It's actually better than fresh.
Yeah.
I make fruit ice creams, but I don't use fresh fruit because, why? Why do you think we don't use fresh fruit? Inconsistent from one day to the next. You may go get cherries that are beautifully ripe and sweet and make terrific cherry vanilla ice cream, and then the next day they're tart. And your customers, what happened? Well, you can't tell them it's a mom and pop shop. We use local ingredients. They want that sweet cherry ice cream. So frozen is always a good bet. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, as long as you get it without junking it, and it's expensive frozen fruit. I buy the cherries. A good place to shop is Restaurant Depot. You all have those near you? And I buy the bags of black cherries. They're $18 for a bag of, not a large one, but it's well worth it because they're perfect. Every cherry is perfect. Much like these.
Now, I'm just going to let this mix up a bit. One thing about Italian ice, or let me start with ice cream.
Before you say that, everybody knows what these are, right?
Candy corn.
Candy corn. When you were little, did you bite off one flavor at a time?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, totally. They're good. And there's enough in the recipe so you can eat about a quarter of a bag without ruining the recipe.
Right. But all the flavors taste the same. It's just you
Delicious.
bite them off little by little.
When you're making ice cream, you tasted Jeff's ice cream. It was fantastic. If it sits in the freezer for a couple of hours, the flavor will actually bloom. It'll get stronger. It'll get better. With Italian ice, that doesn't happen. What you put in is what you're going to get. So I haven't made this before. I've always used something like this, a cherry base from iRice, where it tells you, how much of this cherry base to use, sugar and water, and it makes a really nice product. I want to make it absolutely fresh, so I guesstimated it. So I can taste it and see what it's going to be like. I can do this without making too much mess. And it's a little weak. So I'm going to get one more bag of fruit. Just bear with me for 1 second.
Da, 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 da. It's almost like the teacher left. I can have fun now, But he can hear me, right? He's got me, right?
If I had
He's a great guy.
So now, how many pounds of cherry juice is that?
Yes, I'm adding another 12. I know, these are black raspberries. That's right. I was hoping you wouldn't notice. It's all...
It's shark's teeth. Who
What?
cares? It's shark's teeth.
That's right. Yeah, it's...
Did you just wave a knife at me behind my back?
Did you just say something nice about me
What's
behind
that
my back? Okay.
It's interesting. We're having fun up here. That's the whole point of this business. You got to have fun. You got to love it. Because would you rather be tarring roofs or working on the highway or cobbling shoes? This is a great business. You're always in the air conditioning, unless you got a cart business, at which point you're veritably printing money. But you're working in a nice condition, so have fun with it. and it's really profitable. We'll talk about that. It's really profitable.
I had the overrun control down low, so I'm going to take it up to full speed because, again, with ices, air is really not a factor. I've turned on the refrigeration. We're going to let that run. And I'm going to throw a good portion of my shark's teeth into the machine.
Seriously, where'd you come up with this?
It just came to me. I was taking a shower and it just said, this would be great.
And those, you thought shark's teeth,
Well,
what could I use?
That's a shark's tooth. Yeah, that's the only thing. You try finding candy corn in the middle of summer.
True.
It's not easy.
True.
At Halloween.
Now you're going to leave a few for extraction?
Yeah.
Now he's right when he says you can't do this with other machines. You'll wind up with a sticky, gummy mess.
And a broken machine.
Yeah.
The beater can't take it. But
It
these are
truly is
designed to
worth
take
it.
So that'll be our shark's tooth. Now, if I had an extract of cherry, I would probably use a little to bolster the flavor. You're used to extracts. If you bake a cake, you use vanilla extract. Well, you can buy extracts for just about anything. You get bubble gum, cherry, mint, anything you want. So if I don't have any, but if we had a cherry extract, I might put a couple of ounces in to bolster the flavor. The problem with a lot of the commercial cherry ices, though, is your hands turn blood red, which in shark's tooth might be a good idea. But it's nothing more than chemicals. And so if you can avoid it, you do. You would add more, just more flavor.
What are these for? What are those for?
Oh, there's another bag. That's why I was weak. All right. Have we got anything else in the sink we could do? Yeah, I think we got
I'm not going to drink the rest of my coffee.
I think we got some bologna we could throw in. Oh, that's us. I forgot. The bologna's already thrown in for free. And let me just show you what that looks like. This came from Publix. And it says product of chili, dark, sweet
And that
cherries.
bag is probably $3.50.
Oh, I don't think it was that much.
They're pretty expensive. I buy the ones, the bags are maybe 2-quart bags, and they're $18. But you'll understand real soon to use the best stuff you can, and you'll still make tons of money. It's the people who chintz on things, and their product doesn't come out quite as fantastic as it could, but they think they're making more money. They're not. They're not. Use the best ingredients you can.
If you go to my website, emerythompson.com, we just did a video. Ken and I just produced it last Friday. And it's a whiteboard breaking down the cost difference between using the cheapest method, an extract, the next method using a base. By next method, I mean by cost. And then the highest price using fresh fruit. And I did it with a lemon ice. And you can make $142 net profit per tub. If you give someone a 4-ounce scoop, you'll make $142 off a 3-gallon tub using an extract. I'm sorry, using, which way does it work? $142 using an extract. If I use a base, which is a higher quality, I'm going to make $140 profit. If I use fresh fruit, it's $138 of profit using fresh fruit. That's a what? $4 difference between the cheap junk that you can buy from my customers, my wholesale customers, who I really won't name because they're all from Brooklyn, and using the very fresh. I don't want to see a Lincoln Town Car out here. That's my trick. Hey, come out for a ride. And using fresh product. If you use the cheap stuff, you've got a cheap ice. And everybody says, oh, okay, I had a cherry ice. Nothing. If you use fresh fruit, it's memorable. They say, oh, man, it was just like I remember having a Cafe Ferrara in Little Italy. I am definitely going back to their place to get the fresh Italian ice. $4, 138 versus 142. I think he can give up a couple of bucks to have a line out the door, which is what's going to happen. It's just the most profitable product that you can sell. And again, Jeff and I talk, and when we do the back and forth, we talk about getting into the business for as little money as possible. I have sold several thousand of the countertop machines, warning the people, you're going to have to run this 6, 8, 10, 12 hours a day to keep up with the demand. But their retort is, yeah, but it's the only way I can get into business. I can't afford $21,000. I can afford the price of this machine, less than half. So this gets them into business. It gets them making money. And when you're making money, you can then expand and make more money. Jeff started off selling his ice and his ice cream just to his wife, and now look at it. He's
now
the
3
mogul,
wives later,
the mogul of Fruit Loops. I mean, it's incredible.
Fruit Loops. But it's true with buying the best machine you can afford. And if I started out with the small countertop machine. Now he has an even smaller one, but I started out with the small countertop machine. And true, I worked my tail off. But the product was great. Money started rolling in. What you want, going back to how to make the proper stuff, you want the first customer who ever walks into your store to become a regular. And then the second one. And then the third one. Because that's how you're going to make money. You can cheap out a little and get this guy, but he won't be back. But if your product is really memorable, really extraordinary, don't worry about what it costs you. It doesn't matter, because that guy's going to tell 20 of his friends, and he'll be back every week. And then his friends are going to start coming in, and their friends. That's how it works. If you treat every customer, this is what he does.
Oh, sorry. No, continue. I didn't mean to interrupt. He's just upside down.
Shark's Tooth ice cream.
Ken, did you make this coffee?
It's really good.
I can feel the hair growing on my spleen.
It's good. This is good coffee.
That is real coffee.
That is good coffee.
We're having a sale in Colombia. They're selling out the country. Gee.
Good coffee, Ken. Keep it up.
So,
any questions about anything?
Anybody have any questions?
Yes, sir.
I'm running it at full speed, which is 231 RPMs. Again, because air is really not a factor in sugar water. What is a factor is the sugar. In New York, if I was running a 2-tub machine, because that's the way my mind works, that's the most common machine. If my formula would be for lemon ice, say, 7 pounds of sugar, 14 quarts of water, 2 quarts of lemon juice. That 7 pounds of sugar is for a New York ice. If I go down the road to Philadelphia, where they don't call it Italian ice, they call it Italian water ice. And their ice, they like it smoother. And so we take the formula from 7 pounds of sugar up to 8 pounds of sugar. The extra pound of sugar makes the product smoother, almost creamier tasting. If I go to Bay 8th Street in Brooklyn, a true Italian neighborhood, that formula is not going to be 7 pounds of sugar, it's going to be 6 pounds of sugar. And they'll call it granita or granite. It's a very coarse ice, and that's what they like. My friend Larry DiStefano, who owns Ralph's in Staten Island, some of the best ice in the world, and he's wholesale to his own stores. He makes cream ices. The Italians would call it cremolata. He just calls it a cream ice. And he's adding a little bit of dairy product to the Italian ice formula to make it even more creamy and smooth. And he's done things that nobody ever thought of. When I was growing up, and you were growing up, it was they were carving the wheel.
Comes. I know.
Yeah. It was lemon, cherry, grape, orange, and if you were a New Yorker, chocolate. Those were your flavors. Now then with us yuppies growing up, it became avocado, mango, pear, kiwi, flavors you would sell in a restaurant. Now, what Larry has done at Ralph's is he's saying, why can't Italian ice be ice cream flavors? So he makes mint chip Italian ice. He makes mint chip Oreo cookie Italian ice. Sugar and water and Oreo cookies. And on a hot day, a high-fat ice cream will make you feel ill. It'll make you sweat. It'll make you feel uncomfortable. A low-fat, like Jeff and I make, leaves you refreshed. And Italian ices, when it's 95 degrees here in Florida and 100% humidity, sugar water and Oreo cookies is just the most refreshing thing you can eat. So ices are great. Yes?
What about Rita's?
About what?
Rita's.
Oh, Rita's Italian ice.
That's a Philadelphia ice.
Yeah, my family put them in business. Maybe 35 years ago, I'm not certain.
What exactly do they make?
Rita's is making a lesser quality of this. And
It's
that's all
good
they're
ices.
using.
It's fairly good ice.
It used to be good. It's gotten very
more.
corporate, and we built their machines for 24 years. And then the company, I was building them under the Electro-Freeze name. Electro-Freeze sold out to Cappigiani, and so Cappigiani says, hey, we build a batch freezer, you must use our batch freezer. So Rita's now uses a different batch freezer, and I don't have any dealings with them, but all I hear is complaints. The texture's not the same, the quality's not as good.
I told Steve last week I went to a car show. I collect and restore old cars, and there was a cart, you know, the umbrella cart selling Italian ices. And can I say the name?
Yeah.
And it was Little Jimmy's, real popular. And I always try everything. Can you tell? So I went over there, and for $3, he didn't have chocolate. He had lemon, cherry, and mango. I'm a New Yorker. Chocolate is what I... Anyway, so I said, give me a cherry. So he gives it to me in a plastic cup, a see-through hard plastic cup. And he scoops it out. I said, well, where's the squeeze cup? He said, no squeeze cup. So he puts a spoon in it, and it was vile. It was just awful. And if you're going to do Italian ices, the profit is so good to make the best Italian ices. I'll digress for a second. You still need more time, right?
A little bit.
A friend of mine in South Florida opened up Cecily's Italian ices, gourmet Italian ices. And all he sells is cream ice. Cream ice. Now, I'm going to make a version of cream ice today if we have time. And Steve's right, you can make exotic flavors. He has 55 flavors of cream ice, and every day the lines are around the block, not out the door, they're around the block for his cream ice. The guy has made millions of dollars. He's a young guy, and all he sells is cream ice. As a matter of fact, he's got a little one of those in the back corner with ice cream, working cow ice cream, which is out of Tampa area or something.
Yep.
And he carries 6 flavors of ice cream, and I think the same 6 flavors are there since the day he opened. But cream ice, and for any of you who are coming to the boot camp, I'll show you all about cream ice. It's a fantastic product, and the profit is sky high in cream ice. I tried selling cream ice in my store, and you know what the problem was? I never thought of it. The problem was that my ice cream is so creamy and so flavorful and so rich that next to it, the cream ice pales by comparison. Even though the cream ice was great because I can make a heck of a cream ice. And at one point I thought of changing my store over, but I can't count the money fast enough. So
When, I'll tell you a little human interest story. When Paul and I decided that it was time to get out of New York. The family and the company had been there for 100 years, just down the street from Yankee Stadium, 2 blocks away. Some say we left because of the unions, others because Elliot Spitzer, client number 9, said even you're not moral enough to stay in New York. We decided to leave, and we're crossing the George Washington Bridge, Paul and me and Sadie, with about 7 or 9 tractor trailers behind us with all the equipment in the building. And even my accountant said it's impossible to move a 100-year-old corporation. And so it was a little dicey. And I turned to Paula and I said, you know what, if we can't get the company up and running in short order, we can always take 2 of our machines and sell Italian ice anywhere in the world that we want to go. It may not be glamorous, but boy, it sure makes a lot of money. And I still stand to that statement today, that you can decide where you want to live and you can make a lot of money selling sugar water. Now, instead of opening this all the way and having it rush out, I'm going to open it halfway, and I'm going to shake in some more pieces. I can open a little more than that. Whoa, nice looking. Oh, that's heavy. Ah, that's heavy. Now, where'd the other tub go?
I put it over here.
I know it was hiding here a minute ago. Thank you. We're doing them in these clear tubs so that you can see it nicely. Let's see how fast that comes out. Now, Normally when you're producing ice cream or ices, you plan your flavors from light to dark. So I would do a lemon ice, then I would do cherry, then I would do grape, and then black raspberry, or black raspberry then grape. So that I don't have to keep rinsing out the machine, because there's going to be so little left in here that if a little bit of lemon gets into my orange, you'll never notice it. If a little of my cherry gets into my grape, you're not going to notice it. Look at that, it's beautiful.
It is something.
You know, if we go viral on this and I'm driving a Bentley this time next year, I'll remember you all. Okay,
And
there
if
it
next
is.
month nobody's here, what are you going to remember?
Shark tooth ice cream. How about that? Italian ice, rather. Well, let's see what it tastes like. Come on up. Let me show you. Got to bribe the talent. That's one of her favorite things. There we go. Oh yeah, now she'll settle in.